Hello, good evening. It is just me today. Unfortunately, Shane has, as you can see in the chat, just landed from Sweden. He got his time zones wrong. He got delayed. Who knows? I don't know. I've not heard from him all day, but we've decided I'm going to go live for a little bit today. He'll go live for a little bit tomorrow. So look, don't know how long I'll be live for. I've kind of thrown this together. As you can see, the thumbnail isn't quite Shane level thumbnails. This is courtesy of ChatGPT or other apps are available, but I think it's done a pretty good job. I don't think Shane would have agreed with maybe Marcus Tavernier as the image, but here we are. So yeah, welcome to Game Week 17. Why have we gone live today anyway? Well, I'm out again tomorrow, another work thing, and obviously Shane's stuck. So I wanted to sort of have a bit of a chat because it turns out it's an important week for both of us this week coming up. So yeah, let's kind of skip into it. See a few people joined early. I've seen Eddie, seen a few of your questions here that I have starred, so I'll definitely come on to them. I will definitely have time today to go through those. We also have Paul is here. Paul, good to see you as always. We've got the legend that is FPL Pubcast, one of the go-to shows for me, and I'm sure lots of you. Definitely a good one to watch. Shane's jumped in and let everyone know that he is stuck. And Gary has added in here. He and Trigger have both had storming weeks as well last week and jumping up the ranks. So yeah, good to see you. Sorry, I've got another question here from Eddie that I will star. Proj is in the house. Good to see you as well. Sorry, I'm just making sure I've said hi to all of you. Maliki, good to have you here as well. Getty, good to have you here. Colin, good to have you here. Look at this, it's busier than it normally is. Mackham's in here. Shane, look at what you're missing out on here. Looking at what you're doing. And then Shane's already throwing some shade. Oh dear. It's already firing the review thing. I think Shane secretly might have a review account himself. I know, we're all watching the fixture ticker, which means he's got a scout membership. There's definitely data on there as well. So we'll find out one day. We will find out one day. But look, let's move on to it. And we'll kick off with the man who's not here, who, with no chips, hit 102 points. So the planned moves that he made definitely paid off. I can't remember actually what he planned last week. And the image isn't that great actually here. So I'm not sure what's happened. I will read it out for you, though. Kelleher in goal with a 3-pointer. Missed out on the clean sheet in the last couple of minutes. He had Collins as well for a 4-pointer. Hall for 4. I think it's 4. Might have to get it open on my phone here. So again, sorry, this is a really, really, really poor image. Not sure if that's the one Shane sent me or if something's happened as I've downloaded it. So load it up on there. Yeah, Hall with a 4. Chalobah with a 9. He remembered not to bench him this week, so well done, Shane. O'Reilly with a 6. Captain Saka for 22 points. Bruno Fernandes, Shane's new best mate, despite slandering him for weeks. But it's fine. We're all allowed to change opinion and copy Kieran's team. Foden with 11 points, and then Rodgers. Again, we liked Rodgers last week, and the fact that Shane had him, he was a consideration of mine. I was messaging Marcello, FPL Marcello, and asked him what Rodgers looked like for a couple of weeks, and then I went mad awakey. Haaland for 13 points and Thiago for 2 points. And he got his bench right. Petrovic, King and Lacroix with a point each. And Mark Gui, well, it doesn't matter. He got nothing. So 102 points. Skyrockets in him not just into the top 100K, up to 77,669. So Shane, that is, honestly, mate, that is a hell of a week. You deserve it. I'll say it. And you're unlucky with the Brentford clean sheet wipeout. So you have done really, really well there, mate. On to my team. Again, how rubbish is this image going to be? Just as bad. There we are. So it's not an image with your Shane. I think something's gone wrong as I have downloaded the images today. So I will... Oh, maybe that's a little project for Shane to do before he comes on and does his tomorrow. He can kind of clean up these images. But yeah, I had Keller in goal as well for a 3-pointer. He was one of my moves in. O'Reilly for 6. Senesi for 1. Hincapié for 4. Mukiele for 8. We'll come on to that in a second. Sobsalai for 3. Foden 11. Fernandes 13. Captain Saka for 22. Haaland for 13. Thiago for 2. My bench was Petrovic, Mark Gui, Madueke and Lacroix. So I had Madueke in the starting 11. He didn't play. So Mukiele with the bench jam for 86 points and another very, very, very fortunate, and I'd say sort of undeserved this time, Green Arrow. So now up to 8,654, which, yeah, look, Shane and I think we may be the top ranked content creator duo. Depends how many we want to count in the podcast and whether he's going to sort of get rid of 2 of them there and just take the best 2 here. Seems like it's slightly cheating here. I wonder if, let's say, D Unit was doing well and Gary was, whether it be me and D Unit are coming for you. Who knows? I'm not going to question Gary, but either way, we are still ahead of you, and hopefully we will continue to do so. Right, I'll catch up a little bit on the chat here. Shane, yeah, what was your previous rank before? I think it was like 240. Yep, there we are, 248k. So that is mental. And Jackie giving some, praise to Shane as well. Well-deserved praise. So look, I'm not really going to spend too much time on the fixtures or the results here. Like, what was surprising on it? Well, I guess lots of things were surprising because Chelsea, Everton 2-0. I went to, we both predicted a Chelsea win there. I think the game kind of went to an extent as expected. Shane actually got the correct score. So he's done really well there. Liverpool, Brighton, another one pretty clean sailing. Ekatike's now in everyone's mind. And if he's playing 90 minutes, he's definitely got a good chance now, right? With Gakpo and Salah out. Definitely an interesting option moving forward. Tottenham, that they're playing this week, don't really concede to strikers. Normally it's to the 10, so maybe it's like a cheeky Wirtz. Maybe it's a Gravenberch pushing forward from deep. Maybe it's McAllister pushing forward from deep. Who knows? But yeah, again, I still think well done to Ekatike. Shane predicted a Desmond for that one. So yeah, not quite Shane. And I went with 3-1. So didn't get the right score, but again, pretty close for us. Burnley, Fulham. Again, I didn't think Fulham would have it. And I considered Harry Wilson, but I also didn't. Like, I recommend, if people haven't watched Black Box episode from yesterday yet, it was Andy and Focal. So definitely give that a watch. But interestingly, I was prepared the data and it had Harry Wilson. And Harry Wilson's always been a machine. He just hasn't had consistent minutes. And now he's getting them. And, you know, what a player he is. So I missed the boat on that one. It's unfortunate. Again, let's see how the AFCON absences, particularly of Iwobi, impact them. Let's see what sort of Anthony Robinson being back fit. Not a DEFCON option, but definitely an attacking threat. And it'll be interesting to see if sort of Fulham start pushing things down his side a little bit with him now returning, because we know what he can do going forward. Could create some chances for Raul Jimenez, for those that have patiently held on to him. But yeah, Shane went for a win for Fulham. I went Burnley 1-0. So, yeah, well done there, Shane. Arsenal, Wolves, a lot closer, right? Wolves parked the bus. Did an awesome job at it. Arsenal didn't create much, if anything. Saka, interestingly, people saying very lucky to get 2 assists off of it. And I think, like, let's look at the second one first of all. Great ball into the box. If the defender doesn't hit it, Jesus does. So it's an assist either way. The first one, keeper pulls out a world-class save and stops it from going in. So he was unlucky not to score. And then, yeah, fortunate that it comes off the post and off the keeper and in. And with the way the rules are set out, that's only one touch from one player. So, yeah, counts as that assist. So, yeah, again, tighter game than we thought. I think Wolves, if they approach other games with that kind of tactic, they can win. They can beat teams, because against Man United, as Mark Goldbridge said, they opened up like a 24-hour Tesco. They just went, here we go. Against Arsenal, they learnt the lesson. They sat deep. And when they do that, they're incredibly well disciplined. It's a little bit too late now with only a couple of points on the board. But yeah, I was impressed by them. I was underwhelmed by Arsenal. But getting the win, scoring immediately after conceding and being able to push through to it is definitely a positive sign there. We both thought Arsenal would batter them, though, so not much to say. City, Palace versus City. Cam, thanks for joining us as well. Palace versus City. I went 2-1. Shane went 3-0. So again here, Shane with another correct score. So 2 correct scores already for Shane from that week. And yeah, look, Haaland outscored Saka for those that went against it, but it was only a 2-point difference. So it's unfortunate when you go against it. Interestingly, in that game, like Palace were really good, but wasteful of their chances, and City didn't really create much, but were over clinical with it. So it's one of those, right, where it wasn't a 3-0 game, despite being 3-0. So yes, Palace a little bit unfortunate. Lots of rotation for them, which is needed in Europe today, and I think they're winning as we speak. And Glasner did say whoever started that wouldn't be starting on the weekend. So yeah, players like Lacroix finally getting a rest, which is good to see. We'll see if that's enough though, because yeah, difficult game. Forest versus Spurs. Shane went with 2-2. I went 2-0 Spurs, and it was a battering by Forest. And I think we need to look at Forest now with Dyche in charge, because I saw something posted that in the 12 games he's been in charge, out of all teams, Forest are the 5th best team, which quite some turnaround there. At the same time, they have had, I think, like the 6th or 7th easiest run of fixtures. So it'll be interesting. Like, we know Dyche can be pretty solid at the back. Callum Hudson-Odoi being the top point scorer last week, which nobody owned. Why would they? But yeah, interesting looking at him if Forest get a good run of fixtures. Right, I'm just going to catch up on the chat for a second. Mackham thinks Wolves might try and take teams on at home, but part of the pass away. Yeah, no, I think that could be a good assessment. And Shane has asked everyone for that's watching, if you could please like the stream. We've got 12 people watching on YouTube and a couple over on his Twitter account that I've kind of just stolen, and well, it was already programmed to post on there. So again, thanks all for being here and joining me. Do appreciate that. Sunderland Newcastle, I went 3-2. I thought it'd be a really open end-to-end game. Shane went with 1-1. No, it was Mukiele coming on and getting that beautiful cross for Voltemada to forget which way he was facing and do a stunning header, to be fair to him. So yeah, grateful of that. Newcastle looked poor. They've lost their entire back line now pretty much to injury. So you kind of got a makeshift back four moving forward, which doesn't look great for them. I think they could definitely struggle there. I've seen a few people that own Malik Tior. He should be really good for DEFCON now with no Dan Burn and Shah just being Shah. I think we can see him sort of almost having that 4-point floor, 3-point when he gets booked. But we also have to sort of be realistic in the upside there as well for him now. We have got Marcelo is here with us, which is awesome. He's asking if Thiago and Sob are cooked for his bench boost. Another person bench boosting, spoiler, we'll come on to that. But we will see. And Prodigy in sort of last man standing. So we will wait to see what happens. Cool. I'll rattle through the end of these. West Ham Villa. Shane went 3-2 West Ham. I went with 2-2. We were both close. It was 3-2 Villa. Rodgers coming in clutch for him, like we said. Watkins is less so the focal point, but Rodgers is looking very, very good again. And Rodgers is one of those players. I spoke to Craig FPL Vincenzo about this and was having a chat with Mackham earlier. And there's XG of a shot, right? And I'm sure most people know this, but that doesn't matter who's taking the shot. It's an amalgamation of every shot taken from that area with the goalkeeper position where they are and defenders, and therefore what the likelihood or probability of it going in. And it'd be using the data from all of those. There's loads of stuff you can find out about that. Doesn't matter who the player is. One thing that I find is quite interesting is XG on target. So it's when that player's had that shot from that position, where it then goes on target, what's the chance of it going in there? Because that kind of then shows you your players like Heung-min Son, who shoots from ridiculous places and was very consistent from range. Cunha last season, and Mbumo from last season. Foden this season with the placement. Like, he doesn't go for power. He places it from very low XG places, but he's got the skill to kind of just cushion it into those corners. Salah, there's lots of these players out there, and they'll be scoring from XG that's low, but the XG on target is double, if not triple that. So I think that kind of conversion between the two is probably a better stat that I like to look for. And Rodgers is another one of those kind of players. Oh, little update. 2-2 in their game. So there's going to be an additional 2 games for Palace. That's not what they would be looking for. It's, yeah, hopefully you can push on and get a winner in that one. Brentford v Leeds was 1-1. Shane went 2-1. I went 2-0. Dominic Calvert-Lewin returning once again. And a pretty decent fixture for Leeds coming up this week. And then finally, Bruno Fernandes saving the weekend. And a 4-4 game. Great game. Either team could have won it. Really came alive. Was really good from a neutral standpoint. Bruno owners liked it. Semenyo owners liked it. And Boomer owners liked it. There was lots of points there. Lots of people had red arrows. Got a nice green arrow coming off the back of that. So, well done if you were one of those. Shane went 3-1 United. I went with the Desmond there. So, look, I've kind of rattled through all of those results here because Shane has now jumped up to 9 correct results. He got correct scores, rather. He got 2 correct results. So he's jumped up to 420. Great number. And I got 6 correct results. So 60% return, and that's not bad, but no correct scores. So I fell 10 points further behind him again, which, yeah, not ideal. You definitely didn't put Vorals, Shane. Nice try. But yep, Shane has smashed it this week in FPL and in prediction. So well done, mate. Good work there. Where are we? 17 minutes in. Cool. Well, look, I've kind of loaded up a few things, and the main man is here. Now, given how poor the images are, I also have got his... let's just see how this looks on the big screen. Yep, horrendous. But I've also got his tweet sort of here. So what I suggest to everyone is, check out, if you don't already follow him, follow at FPL_Marcello on X and on Discord. But he's got the predicted points for the upcoming game weeks here, 17 to 21, and the run of fixtures. And you can actually see it clearer on the right-hand side there. Haaland 37.8, Bruno 31.7, Bowen third there at 27.9. Semenyo back in question, but the same amount as Foden, and Bruno G not far behind. Interestingly for me, like, defenders have dropped a little bit further here than we've seen recently, but I don't know if the models ever predicted them to be sort of top point scorer. But Guehi, Keane, Gvardiol, Tarkowski, so that's 2 Everton players in there in the top 4 defenders. Again, with Keane, question mark on there with Branthwaite being in training, but Tarkowski definitely looks pretty safe here. And I guess if like 0.5 difference in that fixture run, you probably just play it safe and go Tarkowski anyway and pay up for that. Fizzy Walter keeps his spot in there. Good man, doing well. I see a lot of people selling him, and I understand that. But also, I think what people need to remember in DEFCON is, in those harder games, you'd expect him to get the DEFCON, so you're expecting the 4 points, and he could still sneak the clean sheet and probably get bonus as well in those kind of games. So, look, your centre backs, you're dreaming of the clean sheets, but you've got to remember that you've got the centre backs for DEFCON as well, and from some attacking threat from set pieces. So I'd recommend in a lot of situations, don't bench them. Both Shane and I did against City, but that's because centre-backs don't get DEFCON against Man City, not with the way that City tend to attack. So, yeah, I think still look into the teams and those kind of aspects. We've got Thiago still holding his place there, and then Jordan Pickford above Bukayo Saka and above Rodgers, and then we've got Pope and Harry Wilson there to round it all up. So, yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, just particularly with me having my bench boost in hand. Not just bench boost, wildcard rather, that I'm already looking at sort of game week 19 onwards, what that could look like as well. We have got Freshly has joined us as well, so that is good to see. And yeah, as Geddy said in the United one, they were up 3 times in the game and threw it away each time. They were behind, right, in one of them, and there was like United hadn't lost when leading and still haven't since 1984 or something like that. And look, the main man here as well is saying Bowen's fixtures are so good and all his goals get so many points because, yeah, when he scores, he gets bonus. So his points are worth like 7-8 points each goal he scored. Well, not 8, but sort of, 7 points each goal he scores. Mackham said if United can get the best defence fit with Lamens now, they should start getting clean sheets. And that's the interesting thing, right? They are, again, stealing from Black Box. They were second in terms of XGC, like expected goals conceded in the last 6 games, I believe it was, at like 0.97. And they've conceded 10. So massive underperformance there, but they did concede 4 against Bournemouth. So it's kind of like, do you take the risk on it or not? Is Saka a sell? Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. We'll let Everton go first. But he is a facilitator. He's also someone who you're holding on to him to kind of do those moves. Like I don't hate someone moving on to Florian Wirtz from next week. Again, I think we're going to see what Wirtz is capable of against Tottenham. But I think he is one to people have thought about him for a while. And then, yeah, from there you can kind of move it into Palmer in like 24. And then, yeah, the other thing that I've also stolen from him, oh, that's why I am sharing the wrong screen, is, and this one you should be able to see a bit better, and this is exactly what we were saying. One thing that I think Marcelo kicks himself for is he's quite accurate in looking at these swings and time to buy players and when you want them, and he's not actually followed it himself in quite a few occasions this season. But as we can see, Liverpool players are a buy from right now. Like Tottenham, not a horrible entry point. Tottenham at home are pretty poor this season, and they're a buy. Newcastle's fixtures are swinging, but the defence is a major issue now. So one that, again, you can't really know which of their attackers to buy. It's kind of like Guimaraes is the only real reliable one there. Brighton have a 4 fixture run that's great. Brighton, Welbeck was someone who definitely is in consideration for the bench boost. On one hand, Welbeck's not a guaranteed starter. On the other hand, Brighton scored the majority of their goals in the second half of games. So him coming off the bench isn't horrendous. City are good for another 3 weeks. But then look at this, like in particular, Palace, Bournemouth, Brentford are all sells from next week and for a pretty decent period of time. Like Palace can come back in 22, but as Marcelo pointed out, sort of going into next year with extra games, with these playoff games as well, who's going to be playing? The Everton swing is coming from 18. The United swing is coming from 19, and so is the Forest one. So that's when we could really start to see what Deitch is doing. And again, I'm looking at playing my bench boost in game week 19. And the reason I've got this up is lots of people have used the 5 free transfers to get to a template that's pretty similar to both mine and Shane's team and lots of other teams you would have seen. Looking at this, the template's changing for like a 6, 7, 8 week period, and it's moving on away from Palace, away from Bournemouth, into Everton, into Forest, into Man United, heavily into Liverpool. And it then becomes like, which 3 Liverpool assets is it that you're looking at? Is it Gravenberch, who is the top point scorer in midfielder over at Liverpool? Is it Wirtz when he gets a run of form? Because again, Florian Wirtz is historically a player that is pretty good in the XG to XG on target from distance. Moving a bit further down, though, as Marcelo asked, is Saka a sell? Defensively, no, is what I'd say. Like their defense, I'd still back to get clean sheets. The harder the games are, I'd still back them in it because it's a bit more focus. Offensively, yeah, I can see why you might want to sort of take some money out of Saka. One thing that does make me laugh, though, is game week 32 onwards, Wolves are a buy. I think what he means is a buy, because they will be long gone by then. Far relegated. So, yeah, just wanted to share that because I think it is quite important to look at where your team is now, look at your transfers, and then also appreciate that the team you have may not be the team you want going into the second half of the season. You can't change all of them, but you can start thinking about which players you might want to be moving into. Is it moving off of a Saka? Is it not? So we will see. Shane has sent me a picture live during this, so let's have a look at what he sent me live on stream. It's him in a bedroom taking a picture of his bed, which, I'll be honest, is tiny. The TV is on the wall. The bed goes wall to wall. He's standing on the edge of the bed, and on the other side is a window. Don't think he realised the window had a reflection because he probably would have put clothes on beforehand. But no, thanks for sharing that with me, Shane. Do appreciate that. Right. I spend a bit of time catching back up on the chat. Let's have a look, though, because I know Shane is good at having the chat show during the stream. It's just a simple button there. Sweet. We will have it there as well. So, yep, from Isaac Russell, Sparsa has joined us. Shane, letting everyone know again to like and subscribe because I'm doing this on my lonesome because he's trapped in a small hotel somewhere near an airport somewhere in Scotland, I imagine. Freshly saying, no one talking about Brentford defence this game week. I think they do well in the next couple of weeks. This week, definitely. Or this week, they should. And Marcello's already got it in there for a bench boost this week. Shane has also got a couple of them. We'll let him talk about it a bit more. Who's going to score Everton's goals in this fixture run? Dwight McNeil. Interestingly, and I sort of shared it with above average sort of during theirs and in a few groups I'm in. The Planet FPL Everton correspondent tweeted about 7 o'clock today that, okay, you can sell KDH now. And followed it up to a question of he's out for at least 4 weeks. So 4 calendar weeks, which is about 7 fixtures, probably 7 game weeks. So if you do own him, yeah, probably want to move off of him. Apparently, Grealish is pushing start against Arsenal. So Grealish could be good. It could be Grealish. It can't be any of the strikers, can it? Because there isn't any good strikers there. Cool. I'm going to stop reading out your comments here because you're just being rude about Arsenal, and I need to remind you where you are, and I will stop plugging your stuff. No, I won't. Your stuff is awesome, mate. Will Wolves beat Derby's 11 points? I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes. What else was I going to go back to, actually? It just reminded me. Yeah, Brentford drawing at home with Leeds. That's why they're going to still get relegated as well. Shane sent me a picture of where he is now without his clothes on, which is, yeah, that's always nice. And whilst people think that Sunderland could dip form, they should have for a while, but they've been doing pretty well. 2-2 draw in that game, so it's going to keep going. Yeah, McNeil, good last year. Let's have a check. Oh, maybe Grealish from 18. Oh, London Airport, mate. You should just jump on a train and come stay in Folkestone. Join me live. It's a long train journey from London Airport. Well, it depends which London airport you're in. So, cool. We'll skip past Veterans Vision. We will leave him to do his stuff next week. Predictions. Don't really want to do predictions, if I'm honest, because I've got to do them for my mates league still, and I haven't really done anything. What I typically do during this, I spend time having a look at a few things whilst Shane is doing his. All I'm going to say about this week is 7 games on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and then Fulham v Forest to save people's game weeks on Monday. I guess my comments would be Chelsea, I imagine, is likely to get battered by Chelsea with their defensive injuries. Bournemouth should score a couple against Burnley. Sunderland are worse away than they are at home. They do struggle to score. So, yeah, sorry, Mackham. But I think maybe a 3-1 Brighton in that kind of thing. City should batter West Ham. I'll be honest, Haaland is good for people that still want a triple captain without a doubt, and he should absolutely haul this week. And I think there'll be enough triple captains on it that those of us, including myself, who captain him, it'll be about 205% ownership, so we probably won't want him to score, which is weird because I'd actually still want him to score. I'm fine taking a slight hit if my points look bigger in a weird way. I think it's just that psychology, right? Wolves v Brentford. Yeah, I'll let Shane do the predictions tomorrow once I've thought on it, but I'm going to call Wolves to win that one. Spurs, Liverpool. Liverpool could batter them 3-0, or Spurs could do what they do to City and somehow win 2-0. Really hard game to call in that, so I'll put a bit more thought into it. Arsenal, Everton, nice little 1-0, 2-0 for Arsenal. I think Leeds could get something in that game against Palace. Villa United. Villa are better than United, so probably see them win. And then I reckon Forest can do Fulham away from home. Sorry, Colm, if you are not watching. I haven't seen you in the chat, so hopefully you can't say anything about me. Getty asked thoughts on triple captain Haaland this week. Yeah, I think it's a sensible thing to do. I think it's better than any of the weeks left because I tweeted it like right at the start of the season. That bench, like it was your captain this week, and well, basically I just said target West Ham with strikers because they were getting battered at the start of the season. They're a little bit better now. I've seen some people tempted by Foden. I actually quite like the Foden one. And one thing I would point out is Focal is having a storming season at about 17, 18k. And he triple captained Haaland on a week. He got 2 points or 6 points, right? So, no, I think it was 2 points. So he triple captained him for 6 points. So not the end of the world. Imagine being Newcastle. I'd rather not. Please give Weaver DEFCON. Yeah, look, it's weird, right? Like Lewis Posser's an out of position or was an out of position defender playing attacking, and you've then got Weaver, a out of position midfielder playing defensive, but midfielders get points for ball recoveries and he hoovers them up, and defenders don't. So by playing in defence, he gets DEFCON in a weird way, even though the threshold's slightly higher. Colm is here. Oops, sorry. Hi, Colm. Hi, Colm. Freshly saying that United will play a 4-3-3. But yeah, cool. All right, so that was a quick run through on those. Again, Shane will do the actual predictions tomorrow and he'll have mine there. This looks like his bus team. So we'll let him chat through his team tomorrow. Again, though, and we'll skip to mine. So my bench boost is activated. And I went early on 3 transfers. So I've used up all 6 by the end of Sunday now. And I'm fine with it. I really, really like my bench boost, the moves I made. We will take the chat off the screen for a second here just so you can see it. But the moves that I made was taking Mark Gui out, taking Madueke out, and taking Szoboszlai out. And I brought in Marcus Tavernier, Weaver, and Ekatike. So my team for this week is Petrovic and Kelleher in goal. A back 5 of Mukiele, Lacroix, O'Reilly, Hincapié, and Senesi. A midfield 5 of Weaver, Tavernier, Foden, Saka, and Bruno. And a front 3 of Ekatike, Thiago, and Haaland cap. Now, Thiago obviously wasn't even on the bench midweek. Not ideal. We're not really going to get an update there. Do I take him out for a -4 at this point for a bench boost to play Welbeck? Probably not, because Welbeck has Arsenal next week and I'm wildcarding the week after. So it's one of those, well, just accept that one of my players could get a 0 on the bench boost, to be honest, because it's not worth tearing your team apart or taking hits to try and get a better bench boost. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with this bench boost. There were other considerations. I was looking at Welbeck so that I could get Sade and Tavernier, but I think Sade's going to do good this week. Well, he kind of needs to, because Thiago will struggle without people giving him penalties, and Dango's one who gave him penalties. But Weaver should be good for his DEFCON, and he's been getting into really good attacking positions, so I think it'll be a good week for him. Look, I think this team could do decent. I don't think it's like... I still am kicking myself for not bench boosting game week 1. I've said it before, but FML, FPL in their end of season tips for next year was always bench boost game week 1. Always do it, because otherwise you waste transfers and all of this for it. And like, sure, you don't know who's going to start, but you know most of them. And you're unlucky if you get benching situations. Like Gabriel was a rare one a couple of years back. And then we got 2 of them. So there was even more reasons to do it in game week 1. And I didn't. And I had Semenyo sitting on my bench that week when he hauled against Liverpool. So it would have been out of the way and wouldn't have had to be thinking about it. But look, again, I think it's good this week. So I'm liking my one. Shane, I'm looking forward to seeing what yours will be, because going back to your team at the moment, Petrovic and Kelleher in goal. Back 5 of, well, Hall's injured. So O'Reilly, Chalobah, Lacroix, and Collins. That's good. So I imagine Hall is leaving your team. Midfield of Saka, Bruno, Foden, Rodgers is good this week, and King, fair. And the front three of Haaland, Thiago, Gui. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you're doing, whether it's a Welbeck and a... Don't know who else you'd go. Would you triple up? No, you can't triple up on Brentford. Would you throw in another Bournemouth one? Don't know. Be interested to see what you end up going with, mate. I will tune in tomorrow to see what yours is. So, look, that's the end of what I was going to run through. There were a couple of questions that fired in. Feel free to fire in a couple more because I'll stay live in sort of another 5-10 minutes. But I'm looking forward to getting an early night because I've got to get back into the office tomorrow. So, Eddie, I already did Mbumo to Cunha. Would you do Welbeck to Gui and upgrade a fifth midfielder, King to a Pedro Neto or someone else, or upgrade my defence and go for... I already used one of 4 transfers, got Cunha in from Mbumo. Maybe I could downgrade Welbeck. Okay, it's the same question again. All right, so just a little side note, Eddie, and it is good having you on here, but you kind of posted 3 of these before we'd even gone live here, and there wasn't sort of much in the chat, so don't need to do it that way, but this is probably the better one here. Raya, Timber, O'Reilly, Richards, Fernandes, Cunha, Rice, Foden, Haaland, Thiago, Welbeck. Mate, that looks strong for this week. That looks very strong for this week. No need to make any moves yet. You've got Tarkowski for next week. And then you can start doing moves that you've suggested of downgrading Welbeck, but I would definitely play Welbeck this week. Again, like I said, if he's coming off the bench, then he is actually a good option because Brighton scored lots of goals in the second half. Shane's let us know that he's moving to Ekatike and a cheap defender for Hall and Thiago. Oh, and then another... Don't take a -4 for a bench boost, Shane. Don't take a -4 for a bench boost. It's mental because your bench boost is only going to score like 12 points anyway. Don't take another 4 off of it. Please. Please don't take another 4 off of it, mate. Do what you want, but just don't take a hit for a bench boost. Paul, slight dilemma on my team. Burn, Munoz. Well, don't burn Munoz. That's a bit harsh. He's just injured. Oh, sorry. Burn, Munoz, Gakpo, and yellow flag Thiago. 2.1 mil in the bank. The upside of Gakpo replacement feels to me the most important. Yeah, it's hard to predict who's going to get a clean sheet this game week. I don't know the rest of your team, Paul, but I would probably tend to agree with you on that. And then K7496, bro, is Cunha a sell to Semenyo? Depends how many transfers you got. Like, I don't hate a in, out, shake it all about, do the okie dokie. Depends if you've got no other problems to put. Like, I don't think he necessarily is. Like, Semenyo is playing from the position that Wilson got his haul from, so there is arguments for that. I went to Tavernier because he was shooting all the way through the first half, and I've been looking at it for a while. Again, I think I dropped Marcelo over about him amongst many of my other considerations that wasn't called Madueke the week before. And he's on most set pieces. And then he had the header in the first half that he should have done better with. And then in the second half, he took that free kick. He came alive with the assist. So I think he's really, really, really good. Freshly bought in Rice and Tarkowski this week. So I think Tarko, you plan ahead for next week, mate. Really, really, really like that move. And you are welcome, Eddie. No problem, mate. And yeah, like I said, I don't mind answering any of your questions. And if you want to sort of, rather than have one where you like, did I say it the right way? Mate, split over 3 messages. It's fine. We'll take our time to read through all of them. Not an issue at all. But yeah, just try and avoid like repeating the same ones because it kind of throws me off slightly. I'm quite a simple man, particularly when I'm doing it by myself. But you're always welcome to ask your questions. And then Mackham doing Thiago, Bruni, G to Cunha and Ekatike. Should I pull the trigger or hold? If Thiago's fit, that would be horrible, right? Bruno G, not good this week, but decent after. Like Bruno G is the only Newcastle asset I'd want when their fixtures swing. And again, we'll sort of skip back to it. But we're not looking at long here, right? Like the fixtures are already swinging now. And Bruno G is the only player that I definitely want from Newcastle, or of all Newcastle players that I'd want until game week 21. So, yeah, no, I'd hold and see how you feel Saturday morning, mate. I don't think it's one that you need to jump into, right? I don't think there's price for Ekitike. Ekitike is better from next week. Again, I'm going to sort of keep saying that. Like, I bought him in just because I want him for next week, because that's kind of my role week before wildcarding. But he's good from next week and the week after, and Thiago's good this week. Like if Thiago is fit, you wouldn't want to see Thiago starting this game week and not having him, is what I think, mate. And you've got 0.5 to play with. Like again, I think the players that you're taking out, like Bruno G, I get taken out, but again, Cunha's better from next week than this week, for me personally. And then, cool, I'll make this the last question. K7496, 2 free transfers, Cunha and Chior to Semenyo and O'Reilly. Yes or no? See, that one I like a little bit more. I don't think you have to do both of them, because I imagine you've got a decent enough to like bench to not worry about it. And again, Chior's got like a 4-point floor this week. O'Reilly could have the upside. He could actually get his goal this week. You might kick yourself for not having him. But if you can just do Cunha to Semenyo, I like that one, and then still having 2 free transfers, because then you can kind of reverse it. But again, like it's the one thing I say on this, I'll just give sort of my high level thoughts. What I've realized this season is I'm the same. I like to hear other people's ideas on it and what their feedback is. But at the end of the day, if I've got something in my mind that I'm like, no, but I really want this player for this game, then do it. Like, go with what you want to do. Like, there's nothing illogical with what your move is at all. So there's no issues with doing it. Just my thought process would be, are my transfers going to be more valuable for me to be able to take these kind of punts? And also when we start hitting double game weeks, am I in a better position if I've got 3 or 4 transfers to attack those? If I come into issues with my team and I need to do a complete restructure, am I better if I've got myself to 3 or 4 transfers to be able to do that? Yeah, because hits kind of suck. So, yeah, for me, I'd probably just do the Cunha to Semenyo. But if you're screaming to have O'Reilly this week, then, yeah. I also do somewhat agree with this. Don't like the transfer in and swap back for the same player. But I think it is so dependent. Like, you can have one player who, like for me, and like this would be the example, my bench through the start of the season was Ruta when he wasn't playing, Fulkrug when he wasn't playing, and Mark Guru when he wasn't playing. And an injury to Saka, so he went onto my bench. And Ruta started to play, so I was all good. So then I just used my transfers to focus on my first team rather than fix my bench and just sort of attack fixtures ahead of me, like teams playing against Burnley, etc., etc. And I do think like there's a massive opportunity here to, like with last season, getting players that are facing Southampton, bringing players that are facing Burnley, bringing players that are facing Wolves, etc. And realize that like if you can get like that 12-point haul with your player, then the transfer in and out has kind of paid off there. So it's all dependent on how you like to play. For me, it was the fact that because I knew I was playing a back 4 or 5 most weeks, and I knew they were reliably going to get me sort of 20-ish points each game week, I then wanted to use my transfers to be able to attack fixtures and even in short stints. So again, it's completely how you like to play and how the rest of your team's set up. But I do think like with the world we're in with a couple of free transfers, going into the second half of the season where you get all your chips again, I don't hate it. But again, just go what you fancy. Cool. Well, look, I've been going for 45 minutes now, a lot longer than I thought I'd be able to. So just a quick reminder, this hasn't been updated for a while, but actually I think our subscriber numbers are going down, not up, which is shocking, right? Top 2 content creators, and we're getting less and less subscribers now. What is going on with this world? Let me have a quick look here and see how many subscribers we are on now as a live number. 769. We've gone up. I lied. 69. Cool. Look, again, if we can get to that 1,000 number, it means nothing, but it's just weird how it'd be quite nice to see 1,000. But yeah, look, thanks. If you could all give us a like. If you don't already subscribe, please do subscribe. If after the video you're able to kind of just algo spam it, that would be really, really good. And hello, Heather. Thanks for joining us. But look, it's just been me today, Kieran. Shane will be going live with you tomorrow. He will have my score predictions WhatsApped over to him. Everyone, good luck this week. Stay patient with a couple of your moves. I think moves. Stay patient with a couple of your moves because I think we may get news. That's why I got confused. Wow, that was 3 rhymes in a row. That was awkward. We might get news in some more of the press conferences, and with a Saturday deadline again, you know, sort of 11 o'clock is your deadline. You've got the morning to really go with what you're thinking. But for everyone, thanks a lot for joining us. I hope you have a good game week. And in Colm's words, good luck, everyone. And in Freshly's, have a great evening. And check Marcello out on FPL Addicts if you don't already. Great channel, great content on there. Way too few viewers, particularly in the live things. So yeah, definitely go over and check them out. But that's everything from me. I hope you all have a good rest of your evening and a great game week.